Hi, sixth graders. If you're feeling a little bit confused, I will walk you through this lesson and everything you have to do in this video. To start off, it's a little bit hard for me to read because the words are so small. I'm going to click here where it says 100% and click Fit. That just makes the words a little bit bigger and it's easier to read. This is our first lesson for distance learning. Welcome, everyone. Today we will be investigating what our school will look like throughout the rest of the year, and we will preview our unit. Our learning goals are to understand what learning will be like from now until the end of the school year, and to explain what poetry is. Our learning schedule has 3 tasks, and here we can see how long they'll take. We will review our learning goals for 5 minutes. Talk about what's going to happen from now until June. That will take 10 minutes. And then for part 2, we'll talk about what is poetry, and that will take 15 minutes. Let's get started with our daily activities. Part 1, what will happen from now until June? Watch this video. Whenever you see blue with an underline, you can click on it, and it will open a new video. I'll let you watch that on your own, pause my video, and when you're done, come back to this screen. Welcome back. You can X out of this box and go back to our Google document. Hopefully you learned the basics of how distance learning will take place, including when your learning will take place, how to complete your work, and a general overview of what we will be learning. If you still have questions, you can read through this list of frequently asked questions by clicking here and opening up this document. I'll give you time to read through that if you still have questions. The most important thing is to remember that you should still be reading 20 to 30 minutes every single day. If you still didn't get your question answered, you can ask your question in the box below. If you don't have any questions, share if you would rather eat pancakes, waffles, or French toast for breakfast. But you need to type something in the box to show me that you're reading carefully. So what you do is you click in the box, and you're either going to say something like, a question I still have is, how often will we have assignments? The answer is twice a week, but in case that's something you were confused about. Or if you don't have any questions, share if you'd rather eat pancakes, waffles, or French toasts by typing in this box. So I would rather eat French toast, but it might be different for you. Let's go on to part 2. What is poetry? Today we are beginning a new unit about poetry. Think to yourself, what is poetry? Do a 3-minute quick write in the box below to answer that question. What is poetry? Think about any words, feelings, phrases, quotes, or associations that come to mind when you think about poetry. Do your writing in the box below. Some optional sentence starters: when I think of poetry, I feel because. Or when I think of poetry, I think about because. When I think of poetry, I remember because. A poem I've heard before is, the poem made me feel because. So you've got 3 minutes. I'm going to type my thoughts here for the 3 minutes, but you should feel free to type what's true for you. Take your time. Make sure you write for a full 3 minutes. Go ahead and pause the video. And again, you can use any of these sentence starters. Next, you're going to watch a vocabulary video below titled, "What is Poetry?" Poets choose words for their sound and appearance as well as for their meaning. Rhyme, verse, sound devices, and figurative language can all make a poem expressive and powerful. There are different rules for writing poems and different ways to write them. In this song, we'll learn what a poem is and see how poetic language can take us beyond literal meaning. To watch the video, you're going to double-click on the image. Actually, I only had to click once. And then you'll see a link right here. And you can watch the video. It's fun. You might even want to sing along or show it to your younger brothers or sisters. When you're done, come back. Now that you've watched the video, What is Poetry? We're on number 4. Read a following list of terms. Terms is another way of saying vocabulary or words that we will study in our poetry unit. What words do you think you have prior knowledge about? Prior knowledge means that you already know something about the topic. Put an X next to the terms. Remember, that means vocabulary words that you have prior knowledge about, that you know something about. It's also okay to have no X's. Let's go through them together. The first word is theme. You might have already heard your teacher talk about that earlier when you were reading Tuck Everlasting, or when you were reading another book, or when you were reading folk tales. If you've heard about it, you put an X here. If you've never heard that word before, you leave it blank. Sensory details and word choice. Again, put an X if you've heard that word before or have some idea what it might mean, and leave it blank if you've never heard it before. Metaphor, simile, personification, rhythm, repetition, alliteration, assonance, consonants, tone. Make sure that you put an X next to any of these words you've heard before. Remember, it's okay not to have any X's. These are the things we'll be learning about in this unit. Before you finish, you're almost done, you need to answer this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how comfortable are you with distance learning? Distance learning is what we're doing right now, learning at home without a teacher right next to us. And why did you give yourself that rating? You could say something like, on a scale of 1 to 10, my comfort level with distance learning is a 4, because it feels like I know what to do, but when I have a question, I can't ask the teacher. Or you could say, on a scale of 1 to 10, my comfort level with distance learning is a 10, because I still feel really confused about what to do. Up to you. It's however you're feeling. Last question. If you're confused about something, if you need extra help, if there's anything that your teacher should know, write it here. So you might say, I'm still confused about how to open new assignments. Or I need help with knowing when I should be checking Google Classroom. Something that you should know is my internet isn't always working and I'm feeling nervous about that. I want to tell you that my house is really crazy. There's a new baby, so it's always loud. There will always be some additional resources that you can check out at the end. Important, when you are done with this assignment, you need to mark it as done. So you need to make sure that you're clicking this button in Google Classroom that says mark as done. That lets your teacher know that you're finished and ready to go. I really enjoyed going through this lesson with you. And remember, if you've got any questions, reach out to your teacher. That's what we're here for.